Good morning, class.
Good
Morning, Mega. You may now sit down.
Thank you.
So, before we proceed to our lesson today, I have prepared you some pictures that I want you to identify, and then I'll follow up some questions that I want you to answer. Is that clear, class?
Yes,
Okay, without further ado, let's start. Let's start with the first picture. Can anybody tell me what the first picture is? Yes, Reza?
Ma'am, that is grasshopper.
Yes, that is correct. And following that, where do you think you can see a grasshopper?
We can see a grasshopper eating grass.
Yes, that is correct. Let's give Reza 3 claps. Following the next image, can anybody tell me what this image is? Yes?
Ma'am, that is bee.
Yes, that is correct. And where can we see a bee?
We can see a bee in the flowers.
Yes, that is correct. Let us give her 3 claps. And now we have the final picture. Can anybody tell me what this picture is? Yes, Denise?
Ma'am, that is butterfly.
Yes, that is correct. And where do we see a butterfly?
Everywhere around us, especially at the flower pot.
Yes, that is correct. Let us give Denise 3 claps. Now that we are finished with our prior activity, I am glad for those who participated in our class. For those who are not involved, you will have your chance to participate in our lesson later. And since we've given that example, I have one question to ask you. That is, where do you think you see these insects? Haven't you all wondered why suddenly there are bees, butterflies, and grasshoppers suddenly? Where do you think they came from? And does any of you have any idea of where these insects come from? Yes, Elise?
They all came from their respective species, teacher.
Yes, that's correct. Let's give you each claps. All of these insects come from birds from their respective species, and it's not just butterflies, grasshoppers, or bees that undergo this. Most of these insects that undergo from birth from their respective species grow and undergo change to see what they are today. And now that I've given you a slight idea on what those insects is, can anybody please give me an idea on what our lesson would be on today? Yes?
It is about insects that undergo changes.
Yes, that is correct. Let us give her 3 claps. Our lesson for today is then about the insects that undergo change. More specifically, our lesson will be about metamorphosis and the 2 types of metamorphosis. We have the incomplete metamorphosis and complete metamorphosis. But before we tackle those 2 types of metamorphosis, let us first give the definition of metamorphosis. Can we please read our lesson for today?
Metamorphosis.
One more, please, louder.
Metamorphosis.
Yes. Now let's read along together.
Metamorphosis. Metamorphosis is a biological process where an organism undergoes a significant physical transformation from one distinct developmental stage to another. Transformations often involves change in body or structure and even behavior. Distinct stages, physical transformation, and adaptation are aspects of metamorphosis.
Now that we have given the definition of metamorphosis, we will now deepen your understanding by these examples. Okay. First, we will discuss the 3 key distinct stages of metamorphosis, given that this is the most important stage for the reason of metamorphosis. Here I have prepared you some pictures that I want you to identify and give your honest observation from it. Again, everyone is free to participate and give their answers, so don't be shy to raise your hand. we have the first image. Can anybody tell me what this image is? Yes?
Mom, it looks like a cycle.
Yes, it is a cycle. This is a cycle of a butterfly. And as you can see, this falls under the distinct stages of growth because it has a transformation and progression. Now let us read the key distinct stages. This stage. Okay, altogether, let us read what key distinct stages is.
Distinct stages. Metamorphosis involves several distinct developmental stages with abrupt changes between them.
As described, distinct stages has developmental stage, just like this example. And now, following that, we have this picture. Can anybody tell me what this picture is? Yes?
It looks like the butterfly that is shedding from its shell now.
Yes, that is correct. It is a butterfly shedding out of its shell. This shows the physical transformation of a butterfly because it has a protective shell and it is ready and the insect before that it was is now molding into a new one. Now let us read what physical transformation is. Okay, all together now, let's read physical transformation.
Physical transformation. The organism's body undergoes dramatic physical such as developmental wings, legs, or changes in body shape.
Now that we have given the definition of physical transformation as the second on the two distinct stages, we will now have the last and third picture. Can anybody tell me what this last picture is? Yes, Ryan?
It looks like the butterfly is eating flowers.
Yes, that is correct. The butterfly is eating first, and this example resembles the adaptation of the butterfly. Because when the butterfly undergoes from the egg to its physical transformation, it has the reason to adapt to its surroundings for its new life experience. As you can see, the butterfly is feeding from the flower to get the nutrients that it needs to survive in its new form. And now everyone, let us read the definition of what adaptation is. Everyone?
Adaptation. Metamorphosis often leads to a change in organisms, breeding habits and behavior, allowing it to better exploit different niches or resources during its different life stages.
Now that we've described the three key stages in metamorphosis, let us now move on in the stages of metamorphosis. Can I ask everyone again to please read? Let us first read the typical stages of metamorphosis. For the typical stages of metamorphosis, we have four main components. We have the eggs, we have the larva, the pupa, and of course its adult form. Now let us give description to these four. Can everybody read the first one all together now?
The initial stage of development where the organism begins.
Following that,
Larva, the stage after hatching from the egg, characterizes significant growth and development.
and then next the pupa.
Pupa, a transformation stage where the larva undergoes dramatic transformation to become an adult. During this stage, the organism's body is reorganized into the adult form.
And finally, the adult form.
Adult, the final stage of development, where the organism has reached its mature form and capable of reproduction.
Okay, now that we have given the stages of metamorphosis, to better understand this, I have prepared some pictures here that I want you to follow along that explains the stages of metamorphosis from the egg to its distinctive adult form. But before I show you these pictures, can I ask, who among you loves butterflies? Can you raise your hand? That is great that you love butterflies, and is everybody ready to see the butterfly?
Yes, no.
Without further ado, let's see the stages of the butterfly. Now I will show you what the butterfly turns out is. We have the first picture. Can anybody tell me what this picture looks like? Yes, Lisa? Egg mom. Yes, that is correct. This is the butterfly's egg. And this is initially the stage of the butterfly this is the initial stage of the butterfly where it is made from the mature butterfly. And then next, this other picture. Can anybody tell me what this picture is? Yes, Lauren?
Larva teacher.
Yes, it's a larva. This is the second stage development of the butterfly, or what we call it as. Anybody knows what this is called? What this is called?
Caterpillar.
Yes, that is correct. The butterfly hatches from the egg and turns into a larva that is also called a caterpillar. The caterpillar or the larval stage is the stage where this insect feeds so that it can get enough nutrients that it needs to transform into its final form. And what about this one? Can anybody know? Can anybody tell me what this one is? Yes?
It's pupa.
Yes, that is correct. This is what we call the pupa or the pupal stage. And when a butterfly undergoes this stage, this is actually called the chrysalis. The chrysalis is when the larval stage is done eating and it has all the nutrients it needs to sustain its new change. And after that, it undergoes the change and molds itself in different layers of a protective shell before it emerges in about a few days to become a form. And then this one. Before I show you the last one, do you have any idea? Here we have it's a long form called the butterfly. As you can see, the butterfly is the product of the people that you have in the shell. Now that I have shown you the examples of what metamorphosis is, can anybody tell me again what are the stages of metamorphosis? Yes, Mary? Can you give the 4 stages of metamorphosis?
Egg pop.
And then?
Larva and pupa and adult.
Yes, that is correct. Those are the stages of metamorphosis that includes the transformation of an insect. And when the metamorphosis have these 4 stages, it is called a complete metamorphosis. And a complete metamorphosis happens not just to bees or grasshoppers or butterflies. A complete metamorphosis also happens to the following insects. We have butterflies, beetles, flies, bees, frogs, and ants. And we also have mosquitoes, grasshoppers, and frogs. These insects undergo complete metamorphosis where they have an egg stage and it differs from its adult form. But of course, since we have a complete metamorphosis, we also have its counterpart which we just see in complete metamorphosis. But before we go on to discussing what a complete metamorphosis is, I would like to show you with pictures again and I would like you to distinguish what the difference is compared to life cycles. One is for a grasshopper and one is for a butterfly. Can anybody tell me what the difference between these two are? Yes, Charlie.
The cycle of the grasshopper only has 3 stages, while butterfly has 4.
Yes, that is correct. The cycle of the grasshopper only has 3 stages, and while the butterfly has 4. Now the difference is an incomplete metamorphosis only consists of 3. Incomplete metamorphosis, or what we also call it as hemimetabolism, is the incomplete stage of an insect but lacks a distinct pupal stage. Now that I have given you the idea, let us read what incomplete metamorphosis is. Everybody read what incomplete metamorphosis is altogether now.
Incomplete metamorphosis, or what we call hemimetabolism, is when an organism last a missing pupa stage in the development into their adult form. An incomplete metamorphosis only consists of three developmental stages: the egg, nymph, and adult.
Now that I have given you the definition of what an incomplete metamorphosis is, I want to deepen your understanding by providing again some examples pertaining to the stages of what incomplete metamorphosis is. Is everybody ready to see the examples I've prepared?
Yes!
Okay, that's good. Here we have a first example. Can anybody tell me what this one is? Egg. Yes?
Egg, no teacher.
Yes, this is an egg. This pertains to the grasshopper egg. Initially, this is the initial stage of a grasshopper where it lays its infant form in the most smallest state. What about this one? Can anybody tell me what this one is?
Yes.
Yes? Okay, that's correct. This is a grasshopper. Importantly, this is what we call the nymph stage. The nymph stage is where the egg hatches into its semi-adult form. And the semi-adult form resembles an adult that is much more smaller than that is much more bigger than the initial stage of the grasshopper. And then finally, we have this one. Can anybody tell me again what this is? Yes, Leila?
Grasshopper none.
Yes, this is a grasshopper. Before I say what this one is, can anybody tell me what is the difference between these two grasshoppers? Yes,
The
correct?
color and the body.
Yes, that is correct. This is because this is the nymph stage of the grasshopper and this one is the adult form of the grasshopper. The adult form resembles a more mature grasshopper where it has a different structure in the body and even its legs and its color. This happens because of the different molting of shells that it has. Now, did everybody understand what the three stages of an incomplete metamorphosis is?
Yes!
Can anybody give me the three stages of an incomplete metamorphosis? Anyone? Yes?
The egg, nymph, and adult stage.
Yes, that is the stages of an incomplete metamorphosis. Now remember, okay, a complete metamorphosis has 4 stages, while an incomplete metamorphosis has 3 stages. Along with the incomplete metamorphosis, of course, we also have the insects that only has an incomplete metamorphosis. And these are grasshoppers, crickets, and camelids. Dragonflies and damsels, drupods, including stinkbugs, leafhoppers, and aphids, cockroaches, earwigs, praying mantis, mayflies, stoneflies, termites, lice, and cicadas. These insects are an example of what an incomplete metamorphosis is. Now I would like to ask you what the difference is between the two. I prepared an activity for you to do to differentiate what are the insects that undergo complete metamorphosis and the insects that undergo complete metamorphosis. Is everybody ready to participate in the activity?
Yes!
I'm glad to see that everybody has a good gist of our lesson for today. And now, before we all leave the classroom, I have prepared a big home assignment for you. And before we go home, I just want to read the instructions to make it clear. For the assignment, you will give 2 examples for insects that undergo complete metamorphosis and 2 examples of insects that undergo incomplete metamorphosis. Afterwards, you will copy the remaining questions and rectify regarding our lesson for the day. Is that clear, class?
Yes!